So we are a leading telecommunication company in the Caribbean and Latin America, and we provide services across 20 plus P2C operations and 30 plus B2B operations. We operate under the main brands BTC, Liberty, Flow, and Mass Mobile. And regarding our residential portfolio, we offer broadband, video, fixed telephony, and mobile. And basically, in telecom world, customer experience has become really the most important thing. And in order for us to improve customer experience, we have embarked in a really large digital transformation. And another problem that we were trying to solve was costs and churn, because traditionally telcos were relying on customer call centers and a human-centric support. And then also, traditionally, since we have 20 operations, we have a lot of legacy data centers and on-premise solutions. So we were trying to solve that as well. And then thirdly, we were trying to grow our revenue and create new digital channels.
At EY, we have a lot of accelerator and solution that we leverage for this type of project. And really, when we think about what we did, in terms of looking at this transformational effort, there were three main things that we thought about. The first one was designing this solution in a way that was very much aligned to the business goal of the organization. The second one was as well, the architecture was a very thought architecture, very unique and tailored to the needs of the business. And then the last point was the customer experience, right? Which was always front and center for our point, given this industry where there is a lot of demand and a lot of changing customer expectation. We always thought about the customer experience and we really took that and take into consideration into the design and created essentially a working software based on what was the expectation of the customer. That has fed us a lot into the development of this solution.
We did something very interesting together with EY. We have decided to standardize about 60% of the software, of the code that can be publicly leveraged for all our markets. Another 40% we needed to customize through parameter-driven configurations. So it's not really the code, it's configurations. And they were needed to attend the operators' regulations, the language, and the currency. Another interesting thing that we did, we created so-called headless architecture, which allowed us to decouple front end from the back end, which actually means that the presentation layer is completely independent and you can change it without impacting on a business logic. Equally, if you change the back end, you can add any technologies, new emerging technologies, without impacting the front end. So that was important to us. And another thing, because our platform had to integrate with all our operations, we adopted the API first approach, and that's how we connected with other operations. First, with the customer benefits, because from the customer side, there is a huge change before and after. So before, customer would go on our website and he could just find information. Now he can complete the end-to-end customer journey without any human interaction. So it's completely seamless and frictionless. On top of that, we also introduced the AI-driven chatbot and also personalization. So if you go to our website and I go, we're going to see different recommendations. Thanks to that, we have managed to really increase the ARPU of a customer because we are offering relevant offers to that customer, which then reflects on our total revenue. And it's really worth saying that going from no digital presence to actually we now have 35% contribution of our digital sales to our total sales. And every customer actually has a larger lifetime value because it's that kind of customer that breeds.
Right.
And it's also worth mentioning that because of the digital marketing and AI, we managed to reduce cost per acquisition and also to set up the maximum value, the maximum threshold we would go different for each market, which really helped us optimize the costs. And cost optimization was huge because it's a coupled with so many different reasons why the costs are lower. So number one, instead of 20 solutions, we have one solution. Then we have code reusability within that solution. Then we have optimization and automation of manual processes, so we don't need people anymore. And then we have a self-service from our digital app serving our customers, so we don't need them to call our call center. And we have also seen very good feedback from our customers, which is 4.8 score out of 5. And lastly, time to market for new features is 50% lower.
We really look at this as a strategic effort in order to bring our client LLA to be the front of the customer innovation, digital innovation, which today we're seeing in this sector, right? And when I think about the business alignment, when I mentioned before, in order to make sure that we were really aligned with business, we did a lot of meeting, right? CEO and director report, asking that specific metrics that they had in mind, revenue growth, margin, market sizing, which market you wanted to grow, which market you wanted to not grow sometimes, right? And so this alignment with the business process was critical in order to design the solution. When it comes to the design of the solution, like Diana mentioned before, we really tried to do this in a way where we look at what were the common pieces, the common feature across all the 20 market, and then we designed a centralized solution which was scalable with flexibility at each market depending on the different customer needs. So that helped a lot in terms of scalability, adaptability. So this concept of API-driven microservices-based architecture really worked very well because we had the core architecture platform coded through the different API, and then each different market leveraging different feature depending on the market sizing, the distribution. This was really something that we really look at upfront in order to make sure there was a successful go live and implementation. And last but not least, the customer experience, very important. That's where we started to leverage AI, right? For us, using AI was important to understand the data, the insight, and really how to serve best customer in an automated way, right? Either if it is customer services or if it is selling to customer, it was very important for us to consider the offer tailored to the customer, the type of services tailored to the customer. And this ultimately helped us because when you have a customer who is highly satisfied, it's much easier to serve your product. Transformation is not easy, right? It impacts people, process, technology. Just the per se is a complex effort that a lot of people need to undertake, not of client companies need to undertake. When you think about the telecom industry, it's even more busy because you have a highly regulated environment. You are a customer that is more and more demanding. They want to do more things. They want to do by themselves. And in addition to that, the ecosystem of a telecom company is very big, right? I mean, if you think about the telecom industry, there are very big companies out there that grow up through acquisition. And as a result of that, the ecosystem is pretty complex. So a lot of lessons learned, a lot of complexity. I would say that the risk is to stay behind, right? And the competitor who is able to embark on this type of transformation, they really are able to be more agile. And so this is absolutely a necessity, not only to survive, but to thrive in this new digital environment.